Agent Tech Mastery teaches agents and brokers how to save tons of time and how to get more repeat and referral business. This training answers one question. How can agents fix messed up systems and build a streamlined business that saves you tens of hours a week in lost productivity and tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars or more in missed income and lost deals? If you want to know the answer, you're in the right place. This information is 100% free, so like, subscribe, share, comment, and tell your agent pals. Okay, let's get started. So first off, I just want to talk a little bit about Agent Tech Mastery. That's my company, and we teach agents and brokers how to save time and get more referrals and repeat business. And everything I talk about with agents is about system setup, okay? And so my training is always about answering one question. How can agents fix messed up systems and build a streamlined business that saves you 10 or more hours a week and tens of thousands, and honestly, it's more in the hundreds of thousands of dollars in missed income and lost deals? So if you want to know the answer to that, you're in the right place. And everything we do with these webinars are free. So please feel free to tell your friends about this, in a little bit later, I'll give you a link and you can join our private Facebook group, and we post the webinars there and replays and tech tips. So super excited. Today, we will be talking about why using cloud storage properly will change your life. All right, let's get started. Now, I always have to tell people a little bit about me because a lot of times maybe you just have never heard about me, and I've been helping agents for a very long time, okay? My name is Darci LaRocque. I am the CEO of Agent Tech Mastery, and I really have created the world's only technology program for real estate agents in the world, okay? I have worked with thousands of agents across North America, and I work with many of the top producing agents. And the benefit to you, and it's always funny because a lot of people think I'm a real estate agent. I am not. I am a tech master with a unique knowledge of systems in your industry. The stuff that you hate, I love. And I have worked, again, I hate saying this, but for decades, it's getting longer every year, in information technology. And I know how email servers integrate with wireless devices and email software, how cloud storage can improve your business, and how to seamlessly and consistently keep in touch with clients once your systems are set up properly. And you're all here because you're having problems, right? You don't understand cloud storage, or some of it might be a little mystery, and I hope I'll fix that for you today. So how do I know your market and your jargon and your lingo and your issues? Because my husband, Terry, and now all my clients are real estate agents. And it started back in 2008 when he started, and I was looking at how he was running his business, and I wanted to help him be more streamlined. So I looked at everything he was doing, and why was he using his Yahoo email to run his business? Well, he didn't know any different. Why did he keep having to drive back to the office or back home to get a file or document? He didn't know different. And how is he going to keep in touch with his clients? Memory, he said, I don't know. He didn't know any different. And at that time, he was looking at, and maybe you guys will understand this, he was looking at a $20,000 website with lead gen in it. And I was like, well, hold on, wait, let's set up your systems first. But he didn't really know any different. And how is he keeping track of his clients on Outlook at the time, in contacts, and on a spreadsheet? And he didn't know different. So quite frankly, I didn't like any of his answers or any of the things he was doing, right? But he didn't know any different. So I looked at all his systems, and we fixed it, and we got him streamlined. And honestly, every year is Terry's best year ever since 2008 and getting his systems in place. But what I realized as I started helping one agent here, one agent there back in 2008, it wasn't a Terry problem. It is a huge industry problem. Because what happens in your industry, you go to real estate school, but nobody teaches you how to set up your business and run a business. You know what I mean? So this is Terry. And since fixing Terry and his systems, I discovered that there are 4 steps that most agents don't understand in business. But what I'm going to talk about today are two of them. Cloud storage. Okay. And there's two kind of aspects of cloud storage, what I'm going to get into today. And again, as I really, really like to tell you, please take advantage of being here. Open up the chat, ask questions. Please take advantage of the time that we're going to be together today. Okay. All right. So cloud storage. There's kind of two sides of cloud storage, and people kind of think of only one side, but there really is two. Anything that sits up in the cloud on a server somewhere, right? It is cloud storage. That's the cloud. Okay. So one of the confusing things, again, is email. So there's email cloud storage and there's computer cloud storage. I'm going to talk about both today. So email addresses, and everybody understands email, kind of, but it is probably a little more complex than you really truly understand. So every email address has emails, obviously, has a possible folder structure, and no, you should not be storing all your large attachments just in email. Does anyone know why? Anyone know why? Or has anyone ever had problems that they don't keep anything on their computer? They don't download anything. They keep all the large PDFs and PowerPoints and everything inside their email. The problem is that email gets super big because those files are big and they sit up in the cloud, and then you may run out of space. And that's a problem generally with those free email accounts. Okay. Shaw, TELUS, Gmail, Yahoo, there's a limit, right? I mean, they're giving it to you for free. What do you expect? Okay. So also with every email address, there are contacts, your address book, your people, the really important stuff sits with that email. Okay. Can you see the problem with that? You have 5 email addresses and you've got all these things attached to the different emails. Okay. Really important to understand. Calendars. Now you can have multiple calendars attached to one email address, all sitting up in the cloud. So you understand why sometimes you can't find that contact or calendar entry, because which email address did you attach it to? Does that make sense, you guys? I really want you to understand this today. There's going to be a lot of education in the next hour or so. And again, any questions? I think we're good. No? Okay. Perfect. So now let's talk about the other cloud storage, which is your computer cloud storage. So really you should have both your personal stuff and your business stuff. They're both important, right? Accessible and backed up by the cloud, right? So that would mean like files and folders, documents, like PDFs and contracts and Word and Excel and Google Docs and Google Sheets and any sort of documents, okay? And also it can be music and it can be those large images and photos that you have. So they should be in the cloud, accessible on any device that you use. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm going to get back to email for a little bit because remember, I have been working with email servers and wireless devices since the mid-90s, when the first BlackBerry Palm Pilot came out. It was the very first, it wasn't wireless. Well, it was kind of wireless, wireless device back in, I think that was mid-90s. And, again, I feel like you guys all went to real estate school, but nobody taught you how to set all these things up properly, right? Oh, just get an email address here. Like I was talking about, Terry, just get another email address to do this or that. Oh, get another email address. Oh, I'm going to have one for my personal. I'm going to have one for my business. And then I'm going to go get a domain. Anyhow, it's very confusing, right? But the email side, what I find is that a lot of people don't really understand the importance of those free email services you're using as opposed to a properly configured, and I have to keep saying this, a properly configured business email. So let's look at it on a flip side, not as a realtor. So if you sadly had to hire a lawyer for something, and we have Joe and Jenny, and you like them exactly the same, right? Exactly the same. who am I going to use? I got to pick one lawyer. So there is Joe, the best lawyer, 1973 at yahoo.com. Oh my goodness. And you'll hear me talk about this, and anytime I'm talking about email is, do not put your year of birth in your email. It sure helps with anyone wanting to commit fraud. They know one more thing about you, right? We also have Jenny at Smith Law. Now, if you're all things being equal and they got their business cards and he doesn't have a website, or even if he does, but he's using this very bad email and free email address, which one would you choose? Now, it's really a no-brainer that you would choose Jenny at Smith Law because she looks legit, right? And so it really is extremely unprofessional and inconsistent in branding when you're marketing for Yahoo, Gmail, Shaw, TELUS, AOL, MSN, whatever your email address might be, right? And it looks less confident and trustworthy. And honestly, that banker didn't look legit, or that lawyer. Would he run off with your deposit? Like, it just doesn't look legit. And now I totally do feel this way, but there's also been studies done on it that 75% of consumers say an email address matching your domain is critical to trust and professionalism. So you understand that, right? And what I find with a lot of agents is they just don't know how to fix the mess that they're in, right? They really don't. They piecemealed their business together and they're stuck. Okay, so let's look at one thing that I always have to talk about, because what I find is people go, oh yeah, I'm going to go get a business email. That's great. But here's the problem. You have to understand where to get it, what plan to get it on, or you're just going to add another email to the mix. And you guys, at the end of this, and we'll also send an email, we do a complimentary session to look at your systems, have a little chat, and see if we're even a good fit to work with you. But it's so important to understand that there is a proper way of doing things and there is the wrong way of doing things. And if you just kind of try and figure it out yourself, you'll probably be in a worse mess. Okay. So now I feel it's important that you have a little email cloud storage education, as well as the computer cloud storage education. You with me? Everyone's good? Okay, what do we got? We got about half the people that registered are here. Welcome, you guys who showed up a little bit late. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so let's start talking about email cloud storage education. You ready? As I mentioned before, it is, I want to explain again, because I really want you to understand this. I want to say it multiple times in different ways so you understand this, okay? So every single email account, you ready? Has that, hey, why is my thing not working? Hold on, it stopped. Has that email address, of course. So you've got whatever, yahoo.com. And then you have a possible folder structure where you saved your emails. And then attached to that Yahoo email are contacts, and attached to that Yahoo email are calendar. And then you have another email address, and it's the same thing. So it means if you've got 5 email addresses, you have all 4 of these things on every single email address you have. And no wonder you're confused, right? And then we throw in Apple. So Apple messes people up, because what happens, unbeknownst to you, when you have an Apple device, you say yes, 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 and it says, yeah, great. And then what happens is it adds another email address, either at iCloud or at me or both, which again has obviously an email address, can have folder structure, and it definitely takes over your iPhone or iPad contacts and calendar. And then you're like, oh, I've added it on my phone. Why do I not see it anywhere else? Well, that's why. Totally fixable. But I want you to understand that maybe why you're having problems, that you're like, I know I added it. Why can't I see it on my computer? Why doesn't it sync with my CRM, right? And a lot of times that's why, okay? Okay, so let's just say that each email address we will call the headquarters, the guy that runs the show, and all things talk to the headquarters that are up in the cloud, right? So again, a little education. You need software or an app to see your headquarters, right? You need to see it somehow. So you might use on your phones or tablets an app that comes with the phones. So in this example, that left-hand side one is Apple Mail. You might have downloaded Gmail. You might have downloaded Microsoft Outlook. There are hundreds of email applications or software, right? Hundreds of them. These are the kind of top ones, but there are lots out there. So all you're doing is downloading an app to view the headquarters. Okay, you with me? Okay, so on a computer, you might use a browser to view the same thing because you're on a different device, right? You're on a computer. So you might use Chrome or Firefox or Internet Explorer. So far, all these I've shown are only viewers. You can use any viewer to view any email. And I find a lot of agents who came from corporate use Microsoft Outlook. Now think about this. So you have a computer and then you download a third-party software to view your email. Or Mac users might use MacMail. Okay. Now, I never ever recommend using those bottom two on a computer. And you will know this if you've been using Outlook for any great length of time, there can be problems. And remember, it's third-party piece of software that only sits on that one computer, right? Do you see the problem? Right? That's a problem. It can get bloated. It can get too big. You might have to create another profile. You might lose some email, some contacts, some calendar when you do this. So there's a lot, and I have been working with Outlook profiles for those decades and decades and decades, no, not that many decades, a long time, and it causes problems. So we do fix it in our program. And again, if you want to chat about this later, happy to talk, but just understand that it is all fixable. I just want you to understand why you might be having these problems, okay? So you're using Microsoft software. You could be using Microsoft software, Outlook, to view your headquarter emails. You might be using MacMail software to view your headquarter emails. Okay. Okay. Really, really important. You could be using your Outlook and MacMail software to view your Shaw email, your TELUS email, your Yahoo email, your Gmail email, right? All these things that you're looking at the screen are just viewers of your headquarters. Okay. Now, I don't recommend using a variety of different things because it's confusing. You might as well get used to one. And when we look at people's systems, we do recommend what you should be using, okay, based on my years of experience on the different software, okay? So why does all this matter? When I'm talking about, now there's the professional side. Why does it matter if you use Shaw or TELUS or Gmail or Yahoo? Like I said before, it doesn't look good. Professionally, it doesn't look good. But there's a technical side of that too, okay? So let's go through the technical side. So high level, we're going to talk about the impact of those email addresses that you might have that sit on old servers, okay? Like Shaw. Shaw is a perfect example. Sits on an old server and you have problems with it. You've probably heard of POP email, but you had no idea what it means. And this is really high level why it's bad. This is a simple explanation. Let's say you have POP3 email set up on your computer using Outlook, okay? And that's the software you use to view it. But you also have it set up on your phone. And this is why you're pulling your hair out and you're mucked up, okay? Because it only does that one-way download. So literally, so you read an email on Outlook, it won't show red on your iPhone. You save an email to a folder on your iPhone or Android, whatever, and it doesn't move on Outlook. So you have to do the same thing multiple times because the email address is old and it on an old server and it doesn't allow you to be integrated properly. Okay, does that make sense? So if you update a contact on your phone, it doesn't update on Outlook. If you update a calendar entry on your phone, it doesn't update on Outlook or the web version, whatever. Nothing is talking to each other. There is no syncing of folders, contacts, calendars, or a direct sync with any CRM. Okay. All right. Are you guys, anybody out there? You guys are very quiet. Anybody nodding their head going, oh yeah, I have that problem. Okay. Yes, no. Okay. So here's the thing that happens. So now we get to 1986. Okay, 1984 is when POP came out. It was a long time ago, right? 1986, IMAP came out, and it was thrilling for me when this happened. Like, let me tell you, happy, happy, happy dance, because now at least emails and email folders synced. Okay. So that means, remember that scenario that if I opened up an email on my phone, it would show open or read, R-E-A-D, okay, read on Outlook. Great. And if I moved an email to a folder, it moved everywhere because it integrated properly and was syncing properly. But guess what? Nothing else synced. Nothing. So you still have that same problem. You update a contact on your phone, doesn't update everywhere else. Okay. So do you hear me, you guys? Like, has anybody had this problem and you're wondered why, and the little light bulb's going off now? So it's a huge issue if you're using POP and IMAP as your email service provider. And that is with a lot of the old free email accounts. So the new way, which actually came out in 2006, right? So not so new. And back in 1986, do you think I was happy then? When this came out, I literally, I can't even tell you how excited and thrilled I was when I discovered that we could act like a true business. Every single thing can sync and integrated if set up properly on the proper business server without, and here's the kicker, without having to spend money for a network server at your home or office, which costs tens of thousands of dollars or more, because you would have had to hire IT staff to manage it. So this is truly an incredible thing to happen to a small business, which we are. We are small businesses. To be able to run like a big corporation for the fraction of the cost. Now you can see part of the issue you're probably having, right? It does impact your daily life, time, pulling out your hair, right? It really does. Okay, I don't see any questions. You guys still quiet group. Now, this is the problem with the systems not working properly, right? It gives you high levels of stress, and how the heck do you fix it? So here are some of the other issues you have if your email cloud storage is not set up properly, okay? So do you forward your email to some other email? Did you know that forwarding an email takes a delay of maybe up to 30 minutes sometimes? Now, in any other industry, who the heck cares? But in your industry, it matters. Time is money, right? Makes a difference. Okay. Now, do you use a brokerage email to give to your clients? Now, you may stay with that current brokerage forever for your whole career, but I don't have a crystal ball. But I can tell you, in the years and years that I've been helping agents, we don't know what happens in the future. Your beloved manager retires, you move to another area and they don't have that same brokerage. There's a multitude of reasons that you may move. So consider this. You use a brokerage email and a brokerage CRM, and you want to switch. Who owns your data? That means any and every communication between you and anyone else is theirs, right? What is attached to an email address? Remember this: your contacts, your calendar, possibly cloud storage, possibly that CRM with them. And what if you leave? Is it all gone? Right? I want you to just think about that. Right? They're not going to forward your email to your new actual email, but email is the one that you're giving to clients. And on all marketing materials, is it your brokerage email? It should not be. Okay. Again, we help agents with this, but we can fix it. For goodness sakes, don't try and do this to yourself. And if you're considered leaving, book a call with us and we'll look at how your systems are set up now. How can we retrieve the data? And it's the same, you guys. I don't talk about CRMs completely in this webinar. It's the same for CRMs. I never, ever, ever recommend using a brokerage CRM. Own your own darn data. Have it linked to your business email that you own, your website, your domain, your stuff, your contacts, your calendar. Okay. And I know if anyone's out there, okay, if anyone's out there and has ever switched, you know what I mean, right? So it is all fixable, but it's food for thought. And it's worth saying again, own your own data. And then if you switch, no big deal, okay? All right, so the other thing that we see when people have that cloud storage email set up incorrectly is that your emails may end up in spam. Well, how come? With free emails, they're more likely to be sent to spam. Okay, so if your clients aren't getting your emails, that's a possibility. And then we look at what we call a role-based email. And the role-based email is something that, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Role-based email is something like info at. So info at email is a bad email address to use. And there's about 30 role, and if you go Google this later, it's ROLE, role-based emails. And in the world of the internet and IT, it's something that we consider a generic email. So it could be considered spam. Okay, so, and I'll tell you this true story about a client who came to me after, and we fixed all this, but you should not be using those really as your primary email. And there's ways to fix it so that if somebody you've been giving out that info at, we can fix it so that they don't, if it goes to info, it goes to your properly configured business email. But an agent that was using info at email sent an offer in, and it's a long story, but the gist of it was that her email ended up in the listing agent spam folder. Should she have done something different? Yes, probably should have texted or called, but it was multiple offers, and whatever reason she didn't. And she lost out on about $15,000 in commission, and her clients lost out on the home of their dreams. And all this just because of an email, okay? Is it worth it to fix it? Let me just see, I've got a question. Martin, how about using Pipedrive that's synchronized? So interesting with Pipedrive is a CRM, but it's not a real estate CRM. So when I'm looking at and helping agents, really, with Pipedrive, you have to manually do every single drip unless they've changed something, but I'm pretty sure that they don't have real estate specific content in Pipedrive. So if you guys don't know what a CRM is, it's a client relationship management software. And when we work with clients, what ends up happening is we get the proper business email that syncs with the proper cloud storage computer stuff, which syncs with the CRM. So if you update your phone, it updates your CRM and everywhere else. So if you update, a contact, you add a contact, edit a contact, it edits, oh my goodness, updates it. Updates it everywhere. Does that answer your question, Martin? Hopefully it does. If not, please feel free to respond in more details below. Okay, next up is, and this is one of the big problems I see. You're using an email that is tied to your internet service provider. Okay, big ones in Canada, Shaw and Telus, in the US, AT&T and Cox. I can't even tell you the reasons. There's so many, but it's a bad idea to be using an internet service provider for your email. Their specialty is not email. Okay, so a couple things. What if you move and they don't service that area? Your email's gone, right? And again, the specialty is not email. It's internet or phone or something else. And a lot of the times they're hosted on those old servers, POP and IMAP. Okay, which means your contacts, calendars will never sync. And again, don't fret, it's fixable. It is totally fixable, okay? The other thing that we see is that agents manage multiple databases because nothing is integrated, right? So they have to update here and they have to update here, and then they forget to update here and they're frustrated, or they have to update a spreadsheet. Okay, you don't really need to run your business on a spreadsheet, or you shouldn't be, because that's not a way to run a business, right? Okay, and then the other thing that we see, which I kind of touched on before, is that if you are using client relationship management software, if you don't know, let me just name some of the top ones out there. I'm not saying they're good. I'm just saying they're top. Okay. Top Producer, Exact, Real Evolve. Those are kind of the top ones out there that a lot of agents know. There are thousands of real estate CRMs out there, and they are not all equal. They do not all integrate properly. Okay. But you update your contact in your CRM and it doesn't update everywhere else. That's a system problem. That's a email cloud configuration problem. Okay. So if you do have a CRM and it's standalone, it means you're not set up right. Okay. It really does. Okay. The other issue, again, I touched on it earlier, but you read an email and it shows unread elsewhere, not set up right. You move an email to a folder and it doesn't move elsewhere. You're on an old server, old email. And if you've piecemealed all your software to try and get it all to work, it doesn't, not set up right. And again, I'm going to talk about that Apple issue again. Apple takes over your email contacts calendar. Apple users beware, okay? It's a huge issue that we fix all day, every day. Unknowingly, 95% of the time, you or the vendor just said yes, right? I can't stress this enough. And then it sits with Apple. We fix that so it will be integrated properly with that proper business email, but you have to get an expert to do it. I've seen people lose all their data, right? So, and again, not saying Apple is bad because people think, oh, she hates Apple. I don't hate Apple. I like Apple. I just know how to configure it properly so everything is integrated and syncing. Okay. So this does cost you a lot of lost time and lost dollars because things aren't set up, and possibly the stress is worse. And other experts don't really talk about the tech side of business. Right? You got all the sales guys like Buffini and Travis Robertson and all those, Tom Ferry, and it's sales. But I can guarantee you, if your systems are set up properly, right, you'll have way more time, get repeat and referral business, which equates to more money and more clients that you get to help. So what if your systems were just set up properly and worked for you? All right. So again, one more time about don't just go and try and figure out a proper business email, because what I see people do is they do it on the wrong platform. And there's only certain ones that work with your industry, real estate CRMs. Okay. Okay. So let me just talk to you a little bit about a case study that we did with Shella. Shella Chan is one of our clients, and she was stressed out. And she was kind of probably like a lot of you guys, right? Multiple email addresses, that having to check multiple spots every single day, nothing synced. She had to enter in data in multiple locations. Like, oh my goodness, she was so frustrated. And only if she remembered to do it, right? She had to update again a spreadsheet, a contact on her phone, a contact in her CRM, a contact in Outlook, and you get the drift. It was super frustrating. And she had actually tried a few CRMs and said nothing worked because it was her systems weren't set up properly to actually integrate with the proper business email. Okay. So she wanted to restructure the technical side of her business for years. And she wasn't tech savvy. That's the thing. And you don't have to be tech savvy. She was unhappy and overwhelmed, and she knew there was a better way. Okay. So we're going to now talk about the issue. One of the issues that she also had is the cloud storage. We're going to get to computer cloud storage now. Okay, because that was one of the big things for Shella that she was so confused about. So we're going to talk about, you ready? Computer cloud storage. Okay, so now that you understand the mess of the free kind of cloud storage emails, we're going to jump into the computer cloud storage. Any other questions about email that I can help you guys with? Let me just check the chat. Oh, Ray, I think you put that in. Oh, I see what you did. Okay, I don't think there's any questions. You guys are a quiet group this morning. Too hot out there. All right, so let's talk now about computer cloud storage. So we have got iCloud and Dropbox and OneDrive and Google Drive. They are similar products from different vendors. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Similar products, similar software, just from different vendors. So iCloud is run by Apple, Dropbox is Dropbox, OneDrive is Microsoft, and Google Drive is Google. So they're similar products, right? Does that make sense to you? Okay. So your files and documents are so important, right? Like personal and business. Yet many agents just leave them sitting on the hard drive with no backup and no cloud storage. And here's some more reasons not being educated about cloud storage or using those free accounts, right, for such important items in your business are key for you to understand. So here's some issues that you might be having with cloud storage if you're not set up properly, right? You think you have to use the same cloud storage app or software that the other agent uses. Okay, there is no way you have to. But again, if I sent you an iCloud link, you think, oh, I better join iCloud and download it to iCloud. If I sent you a Dropbox link, you do the same thing, but you don't have to. Okay, it's just that you don't understand how to save it to your own version of cloud storage. Okay, all right. The other thing is, remember that, you know, Joe the Best Realtor 1983 at yahoo.com, you know, if that's you, right? Your personal email is linked to cloud storage. So when you're sending, so I see all the time, even if you have a business email, so when you're sending the files or folders to your clients, it's coming from that email, okay? Let me just see, I think there's a question. When I can obtain a copy of this recording as I keep getting interrupted. Oh, being interrupted sucks. Yeah, so it is, we will send you a link, but it is being recorded right now on our business page and in our private Facebook group. And I think Ray put, I think he put a link to our private, yep, streamlinedagents.com. If you go there, you can join our private Facebook group. It'll be there by tomorrow as well. Okay. Okay. Now let's, you can't pull up, this is another thing, okay? If you can't pull up that important file that you need when you're out an hour away from where your office or home is, you are set up incorrectly. I have talked to agents prior to us fixing all their systems that they would have to drive back to the home or office to get the stuff they need, whether it's personal or business. Like, I actually think personal stuff is as important. Business and personal stuff are intertwined, especially in your business, and you want access to all things on that tiny little device that is with you 24/7. Remember, I'm married to an agent. I know it's 24/7, right? We do not want you to have to keep driving back to the office or home to get a file. It is not necessary. Do you hear me? Rah, rah. Okay. Okay. So listen, the other thing that we see agents do is fax documents. You do not have to fax documents. The only kind of thing I think still companies that still use fax is government and possibly accounting and maybe some lawyers. But in your industry, you really don't need to be faxing documents. There are apps that we can use to take screenshots, and I don't mean images, and you're welcome, anyone who's had an image any agent who's had another agent send you an image of a document, you want to shoot yourself, it is all, you should not ever do that, okay? And the other thing about not understanding cloud storage is if you've got Strata or HOA docs, and let's say here we have to send 2 years of Strata documents or HOA documents, whatever you want to call them for our US folks. If you're attaching, you cannot attach 24 documents to an email. Okay, it's too big. Your server probably doesn't allow it. So then you have to figure out, I've got to break it into 3 or 4 emails. Are you with me, you guys? If anybody's ever done this? If you're doing that, that means you don't understand cloud storage. So you shouldn't be attaching multiple documents to emails. Instead, you should be sending a link. But a lot of times people don't understand the link. Okay, makes sense? Okay. The other thing that we see is that, again, you might have a little bit of Dropbox, a little bit of iCloud Drive, a little bit of Google Drive, a little bit of OneDrive, and you don't know where any of your stuff is, right? That is the problem. You understand me? And that is the problem. This is one of the most common things we see when we're looking at agent systems, is that they don't really understand it. And so we say, okay, let's pick a platform and let's go with it, okay? And in some cases, I'm really strict on what you have to do. In the cloud storage side, when we look at your stuff, maybe you like iCloud and maybe that's okay. Maybe you like Dropbox, maybe that's okay. But we look at your systems and it does matter, okay? So just know that there's help out there, okay? Here's the thing that we also see is that what happens if your computer dies? Because it's not when, it will happen, right? It will happen. It's not if, it's when. Everybody's been through this, I'm sure, at one point in time. And I want you to think about this because it is so important. Now, back before cloud storage, would I say, what year was that? 2006 or 8? I can't quite remember now. But before then, we would have a backup service for our computers. If you're smart, you would have some sort of backup and it would continually back up your stuff. You still couldn't access it from anywhere in the world, generally speaking, but you had some kind of backup service. But when this whole beautiful thing about cloud storage for email and computers came about, the thing is that every single thing can be backed up seamlessly and wirelessly to that cloud, that headquarters. Okay. So I had an agent. What happened was he had no backup. He wasn't using Google Drive or Dropbox or OneDrive. He wasn't using anything. And his Mac, it was a Mac, so Macs do die, contrary to popular belief, right? And he spent $10,000 to have what we call in the industry a hard drive forensic specialist try and get the data back. And he got back about 25% of his client files. Can you imagine? My heart pounds just thinking about the stress of that and the money. Yeah, you pay what you pay to get it fixed, right? And then I had another story of an agent come to me later. Now, all these guys are all set up now properly, but it's sad that this could even happen. But she wasn't using cloud storage. She had saved all her recent photos to her hard drive, wiped them off her phone, and her hard drive died. It wasn't backed up. She, again, wasn't using cloud storage. And then her father had passed away, and the last photos were on that hard drive. It was so sad. And honestly, these are simple fixes, you guys, to understand how cloud storage works. And it would have saved both these agents heartache and their pocketbook. Okay, you hear me, right? And the other thing with cloud storage and just computers in general. So way back when in my help days of support days with going and fixing computers, I hated this. I hated those days, is that I would actually fix computers and we would look at people's desktops and see what they're doing wrong. And the issue with desktop files is that they're not backed up. They sit usually in a folder called desktop on Macs and PCs. Generally speaking, they're not backed up. So what I see over and over again, and no judgment, you guys, I know that people don't know, right? I've been doing this for decades and I understand it, but how stressful is it every single day for you to log on and you look at a desktop like this? How do you find your stuff, right? And honestly, you think about this, when you're logging on, it's a profile that comes up, and your profile, if you're like this, is having to pull up every single time these huge folders and files. Okay. Is it slowing your computer down? Yes. And what if your computer dies? And really, it's not what if, it will. And all these things on this desktop are probably going to be gone. Files, personal, and business. Okay. We really, it's so important, and we don't want you to feel like this guy when it happens to you. And again, it's an easy fix. Okay. It's an easy fix. Now, again, we talked a little bit earlier about the sharing side, and it gets confusing about how do you share a folder with somebody. And there's too many different types of services for me to go into how to do it in each one. If you work with us, we'll talk about it. But basically, this is the thing I see in your industry that is a problem. I see it all the time, that they don't understand how to share a document. Or when you get a Dropbox or Drive or iCloud, OneDrive link, they believe they must use the same service, but you don't. It's just not understanding it, right? All the technical stuff and the app stuff. So I'll tell you what we do. And we've been doing this for years. And I'm going to show you a template we use in Google Drive. You can do it in all the other cloud storage services as well. But we know that, and I'll use my husband as an example. So we know that when he sends a link to an agent, that agent may not understand how to download that link with all the documents and whatever, the Form Bs, whatever else is in there that he wants to share with the other agent. Okay. So we create this document, a template, telling the agents exactly how to download the files or folders contents. Also, we include a video. You see that at the bottom, the bonus. Click here to watch this video on how to download the documents, because sometimes people just, everyone's different. They don't like reading text, right? And I can't tell you how many times Terry says he gets compliments on this because there's no back and forth. I don't know how to do this. He tells them exactly what to do. And you know what I'm going to do for you guys? Just a sec. I'm going to copy this. Just a sec. Copy this. I'm going to put this in our chat. And you can, at your leisure, you can go watch the YouTube video that we tell people. Now, again, remember, we're talking about this particular, I'm showing you Google Drive, but Dropbox, OneDrive, iCloud Drive, we could do the same thing, okay? And this is what we teach agents, how to make your business more streamlined. If you do something many times, more than once, there should be a template, right? Or a drip campaign. And a drip campaign is in the CRM. So if you're saying the same thing to every prospective buyer, then we set up an email sequence, right? Something to reuse and repurpose. Does that make sense? It's all about being streamlined. Now, is there any questions on what I just talked about? Do you guys have any questions about cloud storage, either email or computer? Yes, no? Quiet group. I don't see any questions, but listen. So what we're going to do, let me just wrap up here, because what we're going to do is we talked about cloud storage, email cloud storage, computer, files, folders. And again, the real cost of doing nothing is the multiple free email accounts that you have, the frustration, nothing syncing, nothing disintegrated, and not really getting all this stuff, right? So the cost of doing nothing is the money you aren't going to make, staying in an exact same way you always have, thinking things are going to magically fix themselves. They're not going to. But also the clients you don't get to help, right? Because your systems are mucked up. And the missed opportunities, right? If you've piecemealed your business together and you're super frustrated knowing there's a better way than your current bad system setup, you can set up a chat with us. And while I'm going to put the link up, if you want to set up a chat, let me just put that up. If we also like to, we've got ample time here. We like to help you guys and review somebody's online presence. Now, I know in the registration, you may have said yes, but not everybody showed up. So the first person to say, yep, let me, you want me to kind of review your online presence, and everybody else can benefit from this, because you should be reviewing your online presence. You ready? At least once every 6 months. And don't be shy, you guys. Let's do it now, because if I find something, they find it. So could you be losing business because certain things are not working, certain things? Okay, David, you win. Yay. Okay, I'm going to review David. That's awesome. Thank you for being brave. All right. So let me get to David in a minute. We'll just wrap up this this part of the webinar. And thank you so much for tuning in. You guys have been a super quiet group, but hopefully you've learned a lot today. And what we do here is we do have a complimentary chat. It's at agenttechmastery.com/apply. You will get a notification once it worked. Like if some people book the same time, the first person will get the notification. So if you don't get a notification, it didn't work. But basically what we're going to do in that 30 minutes, and it's complimentary, is that we're going to get clear on three things. What's not working in your business that is, you're pulling your hair out? Why are you missing out on some of the potential repeat and referral business? And how proper system setup can save you a whack of time and make you more money. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little quick story, and then we're going to go look at David's stuff. So Craig is an agent who took action. He literally joined a webinar, took action, and went through our program. And it was a 20-year veteran. And he said it was the best thing he'd ever done in his whole life. And he's taken a lot of courses and invested in a lot of things. And he said he was really not technical and he didn't need to be. And he said, we were amazing, helping realtors streamline the data and become more efficient. And he said the time and money invested during our program will pay off tenfold. So we absolutely love it. So let me just see here. Okay, no more questions. Okay, David. So are you guys ready? You got to do this every 6 months. And we literally do this. We put it in our CRM as a reminder. We do this every 6 months on my husband's websites, on my website. We make sure that the links and stuff work, what is found out there. So this is what we do. So take note. Are you ready? So let's say I am selling my house, and David, Kenny, and let's say my husband both come in, do the listing presentation. And so I kind of like them both, like that the lawyer. And I am going to go check out, you ready? I'm going to go check out who I want to hire as my agent. All right. Just a second. There's one more question. Is there an easy way to back up email? Oh, Jen, so that's an interesting question. So if your emails are set up properly, there should be no reason to back it up. Okay. Because we're syncing with the cloud. We're syncing with the headquarters where everything is stored. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Okay. Okay. Let's do this. So this is what I would do. I would go David, Kenny, and we'll see. Did I spell your name right? I think I did. Yeah. So I'm just going to go do the, oh, sorry. You guys can't see what I'm doing. I'm on the wrong screen. 2 monitors are the best, you guys. I was on the wrong screen. Okay, so I don't think that is you, I'm guessing. So what I would probably do, unless you are the CEO of Nielsen Holdings, you could be. So I'm just going to add the word realtor here, which would probably get me the right David Kenny. Is this you, David? Can you just say yes or no? Because if you were actually doing the listing presentation, I would see that you're Sutton. Okay, awesome. Okay, so this is how I would do it. And I'm just going to show you, because this is an easy way of doing, kind of checking your online presence. I would just look at the first page of stuff that comes up. Okay. I'll answer your question in a minute, Jan. Okay. And then I would just kind of hover over here. I right click and say, open in a new tab. I right click, open in a new tab. These are the main things that come up. The first line that comes up. Okay. I'm going to, I think I did REW already. That comes up twice. Yeah, Realty Link probably doesn't matter, but people don't know that. Sutton Link, Fisherly, I'm not going to look at. Okay. Why is everyone doing Fisherly these days? I get so many requests. It's kind of interesting. Okay, so I'm just going to look briefly at this. Now, you could go to the second page. If you don't know how to do that, we go over here and we could go to the second page and see what comes up. But I'm going to go to the main ones. Oh, that's just an ad. Let me just see. Okay, Facebook. Oh, that's not you. I don't think that's you, but I'm going to open that up just in case. That's not you, Atlanta. No, I don't think that's you. Okay, so here we go. So let's say we go look at the website. Looks good. Okay, I don't like that. I'm just saying, okay, this looks interesting. Why a Shaw email? And you know how I feel about Shaw, right? So we scroll down and we look. This is what I think the average person would do. Great picture. And I don't know, David, so I'm just going to pop this out there. Pictures should always be within the last 5 years, because you're going to meet the client eventually, right? And if that, I'm guessing that looks like you, but if it doesn't, it might be like, oh, right? And I see this all the time. Airbrush a little bit, but not too much, right? Okay, awesome. So then what I would want to look at is, so this looks good so far. If I tap on contact me, okay, I don't like that. So I don't know if you noticed what happened is we don't want to take people away from the page that they're on, right? Because if you take average person, maybe not know how to get back to it. Okay, they might, but they might not. Okay, so notice what happens. I'm on his home page, and then if I tap on contact me, it takes me there and not away from. Takes me away from the homepage. I may not be smart enough to tap here. I may not be smart enough to tap here, but maybe I want to go back. So just don't lose people. And all it is a simple thing from, who are you with here? My Real Page, they have got fantastic help. Go to live chat and say, can you make this open in another window, another tab? Simple fix, okay? So probably the first thing they want to look at is maybe a little bit about you and testimonials, right? That's what I think. So let's go to the biography and we take a little look at this. So I know, let me just see here. I'm just going to see why this doesn't look like it plays. Okay, so that's not good, right? I deduct points for that. For some reason, the video is not playing. And this looks to me like it's a generic bio. Okay, David? So I really do think people should put a real bio in here. This looks like the theme template from the theme that you got from them, because I want to know about you. Like, okay, what about David? Where does he live? What's he do? What's his interest? What's the bio? Okay, makes sense? Okay, now let's go back and look at the testimonials, because they probably want to look at testimonials. Okay, awesome. So we have some testimonials, which is fantastic. Okay, so one of the things that we talk about sometimes with testimonials, and I'll use Terry as an example, okay? I'm going to use his homes, and I'll just show you what is really easy and well worth investing in is a testimonial, the third-party testimonial site. We use Rank My Agent, but basically we don't have to remember to put the testimonial, because David, you would have to remember, and do you go by Dave or Dave? I just see Dave up here now. See, now I'm confused. Is it Dave or David? I would always stick with one. So this shows David, but if you go by Dave, I'd probably make that say Dave, or whatever way it is. Okay, I think you do probably go by Dave. So in here, you see how you have to add it manually every time. And if you're set up with any of those kind of third-party ranking services, they have what we call some code just put in here. So with Terry, we don't update anything. This is just updates that we send them to one place. The client does the testimonial there, and then immediately as soon as it's approved, it goes here. Okay, makes sense, you guys? Okay, awesome. So that's good. You've got the testimonials. Now, one thing, and I don't think David does this, but let me just see. Good. No, you don't. Okay, so sometimes people say they have a blog, and then what it really is their listings. That's not the same. Or they say they have a blog, and the blog is like 3 years old. Get rid of the blog. Blogging is, in my opinion, a waste of time. You could probably spend more time doing other things. That's my opinion, because you've got a lot of things, a lot of admin, a lot of things that agents do. And blogging is just a lot of, if you don't have the time to do it, I wouldn't do it. And market stacks, and I think we already saw the contact us. Yep. So in here, call me. I would, now I know we know that your phone number and email is here, but I would also put your phone number here. It should be clickable, by the way, like it's clickable up here. It is not clickable down here. And then I just put the email here too. Don't make me try and figure out how do I email? I'm an emailer. I want to email them. You should put the email down here. Okay. And Shaw is a really bad, you really should book an appointment, David, because Shaw is such a bad email to run. That's that old pop email. Okay. All right. You with me still, David? I don't know what to call you. David, Dave. Okay. All right. So realtor.ca. So here's another thing, another reason that the third-party testimonial sites are so great. So I'm going to look up Terry, just a sec. I always like to use him, Terry. Oh, I can't spell his name. Yeah. Okay. And I'm going to go to the realtor.ca for Terry. Okay. So if we look at this, and again, let's just say there's two people, and they go on realtor.ca to find out about you. So first off, we want to make sure, does this work? Yeah, it goes to your website. I can tell because I'm just looking at the link here. Hopefully the phone number is correct. I double check that the email is correct. When someone emails you here on this one, not this one, that's your brokerage. And then any additional qualifications, and then that. Okay, so now let's look at Terry's, where Rank My Agent is integrated with realtor.ca, and some other of them are as well. So we see that he's got these rankings. We've got the testimonials right there, and then we've got the same other stuff. This is super important, okay? I think. Well, I know that in 2019, we looked at the stats. Terry got $50,000 in gross commission just from this. In 2019, 2020 was more. We haven't figured out the exact amount. We were just talking about it the other day, and he figured it was probably closer to 80 or 90 from this. Okay. So it's well worth using some of these third-party testimonial sites if you're so inclined. Okay. All right. So good. And then we go here. Oh, REW, you can't change much anymore, but I would log in and just see, because they do change stuff all the time. But let's just see about me. They used to allow us to make a bunch of changes. So now we've got a different email. Okay. So you've got 2 emails at least. A different email here than the email that was on the other one. And I'm guessing this works, but sometimes these links don't work. If you've changed domains, websites, things don't work. Could that make you lose a deal? Yeah, it could. Okay. Okay. And I think Realty Link's fine. I would just double check. Is this all correct? That's correct. And then that looks correct. This looks correct to me. So I think it's all good, but you would go in and just double check, right? And then your Sutton one. So on the brokerage, this is good to know, you guys. So on the brokerage profiles, generally speaking, they're going to put the brokerage email. Now, sometimes you can change that in the back end. You have to double check and look, because there's always a back end of the brokerage that you can log in and make changes and adjustments. So you want to make sure that, like, where you probably at one time filled in what areas you service. Okay. And that would be in the Sutton back end or the Remax back end or Century 21 or whoever, right? And then, designations. You added that somewhere in the back end. So this is where I'd want to, could you change the email to your proper business email? Okay. So, and then does this work? I always like to just double check. Does this work? The connect with David, it should, let's just see here. I'm tapping on here. It doesn't do anything. So does that? Oh, because it's over here. Okay, gotcha. And know about us. And this is typical what I see of agents. They don't fill out the brokerage platform well enough. And then you could have a whole about us here, which once you've done it on the bio on the website, you could just copy and paste and put the same thing here. Make sense? Okay. And then I don't think that's not you. Okay. I think that's good, but you guys kind of understand, like, and I didn't see any social, let me just go back here. I didn't see any social media links anywhere, but that's another thing to be concerned about, you guys, is the social media links. Does it go to the right page? On the page is the phone number and the email and the brokerage and everything that you want people to easily find about you if they found you on LinkedIn or Facebook or Instagram or whatever platforms you have. Okay. Does that make sense? I think it does. I hope it does. Any questions, David? I don't see any. Let me just go back. While you're thinking about it, and if you want to ask questions, Jan was saying, I'm trying to find a way to keep emails in case anyone comes back later concerning anything. Yeah, that issue that you have if your emails are not sitting in the cloud properly is that if you are using Outlook or Macmail, that's where it gets messed up. If it's set up properly, it just sits in the cloud. And as long as you don't delete them, they are still there. So that might mean, if you're concerned about that you want to set up a chat and we can see, well, how many emails and what email is it and how is it set up? And does that make sense, hopefully? So yeah, feel free to go to agenttechmastery.com/apply. And I'm not sure that another thing, I might not be available until like a couple of weeks. I'm super busy in the next week or so. So don't give up, book a call and we'll talk when we can. Okay. Another question. I had a Gmail business account with a team name on it. Can I change the name of the account? Worth talking to us about that. The answer is yes, but you have to understand the implications of it. Okay. So with all kind of email addresses, you can do certain things, and on business accounts, you generally have the option to do a bunch of other things. So yeah, set up a chat, and we can maybe see if we can help you with that. Okay. Okay. I think I answered all the questions. Okay. Let me just. We also have streamlinedagents.com. It'll come to this page here. My assistant Ray, who's awesome, has put the link in a few times, and we will send it to you tomorrow as well. No more questions, I don't think. And you'll get, like I said, a follow-up email that comes from Zoom, us tomorrow with all the links. And we're going to do something kind of unique in July. We are going to do a Q&A. So you guys are on our list. We'll send the email out later in July. But we're just going to answer questions on tech. So we're happy to have you there. We'll send out an email about that. And thanks for being here. And we hopefully will talk to some of you guys in our complimentary chat. Okay. All right. Thanks, you guys. I'm signing off. Talk to you later. Okay, well, that about wraps it up today. Thanks for tuning in. And if you think you're a good fit for agenttechmastery.com, here's what I want you to do. Go to www.agenttechmastery.com/apply. Book an appointment to speak with us. We'll get on the phone for about 30 minutes and we'll get clear on 3 things. What isn't working in your business that's causing you pain? Why you're missing out on lots of repeat and referral business? And how proper system setup can save you a whack of time and make you more money. Remember, scaling your business doesn't happen by itself. You need expert guidance to make it happen. We have helped thousands of clients across North America fix their systems so they can spend more time with family and friends while increasing their revenue and making the world a better place. I hope to see you at the chat. Bye.